And nothing in sort of particular because they haven't beaten this team. So we're a new team, new identity, new way of playing. So we just focus on that.
How important will be for you victory on Seattle, a place where we never won, and we can start changing the history from game one?
Yeah, listen. Every game we go to play, we want to get 3 points. But the main thing for me is we focus on the performance. We go there, we play our football. You see the intensity of training today. Very happy with that. So we have to go with that intensity in terms of our pressing, put them on the back foot, try and dominate the game, and then hopefully we get the 3 points.
Matt, how difficult is it to open your managerial career in a plastic pitch, and given the most recent history that the Rapids haven't had much success over there in Seattle? How difficult is that?
Yeah, I think in terms of the pitch, obviously we're training on turf. It's a new experience for me. We had Bodo Glimt in the Europa League, and that was a very rare occurrence at Tottenham. So you're generally on grass, but I know that's the landscape of this league. So there's no excuses with that. We've trained well the last couple of days on turf. It's still a football pitch. It's still 1 ball. It's still 2 goals. So yeah, we have to go there and try and win the game.
You mentioned in the conference you like to have the ball against Seattle, which is most of the difficult team in the MLS. How are you going to play against them? Defensive, offensive?
Definitely offensive. I won't give too much away in terms of the specific tactics, but listen, that question you could ask me every week, we'll get the same answer. We're going to go there and try and dominate with our football. We've played some top teams in this pre-season, and every game we've had the same intention. With varying success, but we'll go there with the same intention. Every time they have the ball, we'll try to press because we want the ball. We need to have the ball back, and then when we have the ball, we try to dominate, try to create chances. Of course, we have to have a tactical plan behind that, which we'll work on the next couple of days. But we're in a good place. The mood's good, so we're excited for the game.
Have you gotten a sense of some of the rivalries for this team around the league? Seattle being one of them, obviously, and generally, what are your kind of attitudes towards rivalries?
Yeah, I get a bit of insight from the staff, of course, and I'm trying to make sure I'm up to speed with those things and sensitive to those things because it is very important. But every game I'll treat like a rivalry, and I want us to be an aggressive team. I don't want us to be a nice team. I don't want us to be a soft team. So every game we have to go and compete to our maximum to try and win the game, and we won't veer too much away from that.
In terms of your style of play, you said that this team has come a long way, but there's still a long way to go. On Thursday before the game, how game ready would you say this team is?
There was a lot of positive signs against Orlando, but we won't be the finished article for a long time. We'll be probably never. I'll always be trying to refine things and push the boundaries here and trying to improve us tactically, trying to improve us physically, trying to improve the mentality of this group, and I think that's what high performance is. So yeah, by no means the finished article, but we're in a good spot.
What do you have to say? What do you know about Seattle?
Yeah, good team. I've watched a couple of games already, and we've had our meeting on them. So well up to speed with what they do tactically, very well organised. A lot of bodies inside the pitch. So they're really going to test our press because tactically they give you a lot of problems. But we just have to make sure, from an intensity perspective, we're right at it. Because there's no other way to play against that team. They've got some very good players as well. So they're going to test us for sure, but we're going to be ready tactically and physically.
Matt, I'm pretty sure that you're aware of the fact that the Rapids were the team that allowed the most goals in the last 5 minutes of each half last season. Is there like a different mental approach that you're going to take starting this Sunday about that?
Yeah, obviously I can't speak for what went previously, but of course I'm well aware of that and a lot of other statistics. So for me it's about us having an incredible physical base, because generally that could point towards fitness and making sure we're strong at the end of each half. And I loved the way that we finished the Orlando game. We were still the team, even at 4-1 up, we were still the team trying to push and score more goals. And I loved how we looked physically, even though that was the guys' first 90 minutes. So we're in a good spot from that perspective. And then also it's about our tactical game model, making sure we have such a clear identity that in difficult moments, in adversity, we have something to fall back on. We have a strong foundation. We have, the phrase I always use is one brain, making sure everyone's in sync, everyone knows the movements we're going to make, the positions we take up, the solutions to whatever the opponent throws at us, because it's those things that get you through difficult spells. And then the last bit of that is we have to have the mentality to suffer, because there's no way a team as good as Seattle don't put us under pressure for spells of that game. Hopefully it's minimal, but it could be a long spell in the game, and in that moment we have to show our mentality, show our aggression, show our commitment to keeping clean sheets and being difficult to beat. So I want to see all of that at the weekend.
Over the course of the preseason, how have you kind of approached breaking the habit of players reacting to games and integrating what you want, which is to dictate games?
Yeah, it's just a constant message. It's every day. You can hear from my throat. It's a message that I'm still. I was very I was frustrated with elements of training yesterday because the training was so good, but then there was certain things that we did in training in terms of our finishing where we didn't show true belief and commitment and ruthlessness, and that's what I'm trying to create in this group, an edge and an aggression and a ruthlessness, a conviction behind what they do. So I think I'll have a sore throat for the next couple of years, that's for sure. I'll never stop going after that because there's so much potential here. It's a squad, it's a young squad, so they need that constant criticism, they need that constant attention, that constant demand, and I'll never stop with that because I truly believe we can create something special here. I'm seeing the early signs of that. I think Orlando felt some of the early signs of that, and we have to make sure that we go there, and whilst we respect Seattle, we have to try and put them on the back foot, and that's what we'll try and do at the weekend.
There's still some debate about what your system will look like, what the formation will be, but just generally what you can kind of reveal. What is the responsibility of a number 10 in your system?
How much do I give away? No, listen, we play a positional game, so it's important that the players in the first build-up, they hold their positions, they understand the movements to make, but the movements they make are all dictated by how the opponent presses. So I try and give the guys all the solutions. If the opponent presses with a 9 and 10, we know what movements and what passes to make. If they press with just a 9, we know what movements, what passes to make. If they suddenly jump with a winger, we know what movements and passes to make. And I like them to have that cohesion from our goal all the way to the opposition's goal. So I say to the guys, I want us to be a precision machine from our byline to the final third, but one of the issues we've had in pre-season is when we've arrived in the final third, we've still been far too precise. I want us to drop the precision there, and I want us to play with much more aggression, conviction, more bodies in the box, constantly attacking, constantly trying to score goals, even if at risk of a counter-attack, no problem, because then we have to show world-class recovery runs to get back in. So that's what we're trying to create. Are we there yet? No way, but that's the journey that we're on.
2 more questions.
I know you were asked this on Tuesday, but have you thought more about who's going to be your captain?
I'm always thinking about it. I'm always, for me, I'm a very analytical person, so I'm making judgments every single day. I don't feel like I'm in a position to decide that fully yet. I'm still weighing up the squad, and I think maybe I'm different to other coaches in that position. I know it means a lot to the players and the dressing room, but I try and create an environment where it doesn't mean so much, and I don't want us to be reliant on someone who wears an armband. We won't have a leadership group here. Once I name the captain, I'll leave that up to them how they want to manage it. If they want to create a leadership group of their own, they can, great, and they police things themselves from in the dressing room. But I have high standards, high demand, so I'm happy to police everything. If people fall out of line, they just simply won't play in the team. So, but at some point I will get around to naming the captain, and probably before the weekend.
Matt, what do you have to say about Miguel Navarro, a player that just came on 2 trainings already?
Yeah,
from a top league.
Yeah, no, it's great to have some of his experience, and I think one thing I really liked about Miguel was his aggression, his intensity. That's what I want here. You can probably tell from every answer that I come out with. I want to make sure. I think I said obviously the other day in some of the press that the last thing I want to win is the Fair Play Award. Like, I want us to have an aggression and an edge on the pitch and a competitiveness. I've just seen that in training today. 2 teams in 11v11 desperately trying to compete and win. So Miguel's going to be massive for that for sure.